start from Parliament, where Boko Central MP Mahama Ayariga has described as illegal and unconstitutional the closure of the LGBTQI community space in Accra. Mr. Ayariga argued the act of unnatural carnal knowledge must be separated from the constitutionally guaranteed freedom of association. He was reacting to a group of MPs who issued a statement against the activities of LGBTQI+ in Ghana. The debate has been raging in Ghana for weeks, with religious groups calling on Parliament to pass an anti-gay legislation. Ningo Prampram MP Sam George made the statement on behalf of members of the anti-LGBTQI group.
This is nothing short of an open attack on the laws of our country, and such unfortunately irresponsible conduct cannot be overlooked or treated with kid gloves. The sovereignty of this country must be respected and protected. Mr. Speaker, without mincing words and stating as a matter of fact, any action aimed at the promotion of LGBTQI+ activities in this country is illegal and a clear breach of our Constitution and criminal codes. Article 12(2) of the 1992 Constitution dictates the entitlement of all citizens to fundamental human rights and freedoms, subject to the respect for the rights and freedoms of others, and most importantly, for the public interest. Article 39(1) and 3 of the Constitution further enjoins, and I quote, "The state to take steps to encourage the integration of appropriate customary law values into the fabric of national life through formal and informal education and the conscious introduction of cultural dimensions to the relevant aspects of national planning." Our Ghanaian customary law views homosexuality as an anathema and does not in any way, shape or form support the promotion of the perverted alien culture of homosexuality. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, Section 104 of Ghana's Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29, as amended by Act 646 of 2003, criminalizes unnatural carnal knowledge. Section 104(2) of the Criminal Code states, and I quote, "Unnatural carnal knowledge is sexual intercourse with a person in an unnatural manner or with an animal. The perverted actions of homosexuals, whether consensual or not, constitute a crime under Ghanaian law, as it is unnatural carnal knowledge of another. This is not the position of our law. This position of the law, Right Honorable Speaker, does not occur in a vacuum. It is a representation of our culture, traditions, religious and customary beliefs, and our morals as a country. Any attempt to depart from the current position of the law on homosexuality will be an unprecedented assault on the fabric of our tradition and culture and customs as Ghanaians."
Mahama Ayariga is, however, opposed to what he believes is an attempt to infringe on the freedom of association.
You may not like a certain view. You may not like a certain practice. But our Constitution recognizes freedom of speech, freedom of belief, freedom of conscience. And so the question is, do people have a right to form an association to advocate for a certain position to become accepted by the laws of Ghana? Do they have that right? And I take a position, and I stand to be challenged, that we need to be careful to distinguish between the freedom to speak about something, the freedom to advocate that we should accept it, as against the thing itself. The law prohibits unnatural carnal knowledge. So you cannot engage in unnatural carnal knowledge in this country. And you have no right to engage in unnatural carnal knowledge in this country. And so you cannot seek protection for it. But if you think that you want to advocate for it, and you form an association to engage in the advocacy, I take a legal position that you cannot stop people advocating for something to be recognized by the law. If you stop people from advocating for something to be recognized by the law, at that point you are transgressing, you are stepping on freedom of speech. And you cannot stop people from coming together to say they want to advocate. At that point, you are stepping on freedom of association.
My colleague Parker Wilson now joins me from Parliament, where this debate has been ongoing. Hello, Parker. Tell me more about this debate. What was the outcome? Any consensus?
Well, there was no any particular consensus with regards to the advocacy of LGBT plus rights here in Parliament. The Speaker gave the members of the House the opportunity to contribute on the floor of the House, or to contribute to the debate. Now, just as he heard Mahama Ayariga made the point clearly, all the other MPs who stood to speak or contribute to the statement made by Sam George were against the position of Mahama Ayariga. In fact, shortly after he spoke, the whole West Member of Parliament, Emmanuel Bedra, challenged any Member of Parliament who perhaps might be involved in such a practice. That if you claim that there is an advocacy, and as a matter of fact, if you get individuals who are advocating for the rights of LGBTs, then anybody who is in this House should let us know or own up, then we can commend you for doing so. Of course, nobody stood up. They all burst into laughter. And he made the point that Parliament must make a strong statement to criminalize the activities of LGBT because our culture frowns on it. And as the people's representatives, it is their duty to bring finality to this matter. The second Deputy Speaker of Parliament, that is the former MP, who at the time had taken the Speaker's chair, thanked them for contributing to the statement. We are told that the Speaker of Parliament himself, Abam Babin, will make a statement on this issue. That wouldn't be today, but in the coming days, he's going to do that. So that was how the conversation or the debate about LGBT advocacy and their rights was concluded here in Parliament.
You know, there's been calls for legislation for Ghana to make its intentions clear on this particular activity. What was the position of the MPs on this one?
Right, so Sam George, who is actually the initiator of this statement, had indicated on the floor that he was going to initiate a private motion bill to the House, and he's asking all members of Parliament to support the cause so that they can legislate on the activities of LGBT or the sexual minorities. Now, his point is that whether advocacy or not, whether forming an association or not, whether engaging in the practice, the law will criminalize all aspects of activities of sexual minority. And that was the angle Mahama Ayariga was coming from. That as it stands, the law gives us the opportunity to form association. He cited the advocacy of the RTI, that when people were advocating for the right to information bill, they were given the opportunity to do so. So if persons are equally advocating for the rights of LGBTs, then they must be given the opportunity to be heard. And so no individual can attack them for doing so. And that was where he cited the fact that the police closing down their offices were illegal. And so until the law is amended to the effect that advocacy for their rights, forming an association, and also engaging in the practice is criminalized, no individual, not even the state security agencies, is clothed with the powers to trample on the rights of these individuals who are advocating for the rights of LGBT.